Hello allotmenteers, and welcome to another allotment diary. Now today's Thursday. I've not been down since Monday. Tuesday I had a tooth extraction and sedation, and yesterday I was feeling a little bit off colour, so I didn't come down, wasn't allowed to drive, and certainly wasn't feeling up to doing anything. So let's have a look around. Let's see how things are looking after our work. This bed here, still looking nice and clear. A couple of weeds coming up, but nothing I can't hoe out, so I'll hoe all those out. Again, this one here, see there's nothing really come up on that one. There's a couple of small weeds over there in my rhubarb bed. As I said, they're going to get moved. I want to use that raised bed for other stuff. Looking at this one, we've had quite a bit of rain, but these rhubarb, what they're called? That's it, beetroot. So I had a blind moment there. These transplanted ones have actually done alright. They look like they're okay. So the rest of these need transplanting. You can see, if you look down there, you can see that they're actually quite tightly planted. So I will shift some of those. None of the ones I've planted the other day have actually come up. Let's wait and see if they do. It's only been a couple of days, so that's fair enough. Let's have a look at our peas. A lot more peas on here now, starting to form nicely. They're not doing anything yet, they're not ready, but we'll keep an eye on those. The old onion beds, they're looking clear. Again, probably just a quick hoe over. Now, I'm actually going to be away for a few days, so what I want to do is these beds, I want to cover them. Same with that one there. I want to cover them so that when I come back, I'd say I'm only away for a few days, but I want to cover them, then I can come back and plant in them, and I'm going to get some winter veg like brassicas and leeks and so on. Now I did notice, very excitingly, look at that strawberry, beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. I would eat it, but my tooth's hurting a little, or lack of tooth I should say. So there's a few more strawberries in there, so that's very, very exciting. Let's just go around here. We've got some, I noticed I've got a pot there. It's not doing anything apart from growing weeds. Mint, that'll go nicely in the pot. So I think that's what's going to go in there. Let's just go in the shed. I'll show you a couple of other things and try not to break my neck on my rake. Now the onions are drying nicely, and boy does it smell of onions in here. That's very nice. I bought myself some of this, some hand sanitizer. So obviously, you know, you're grubbing around in dirt and you need to make sure. Oh, there, I've just tripped on my rake. Ow. Comedy moment for you, but it's just handy. We have taps. Obviously if I use a tap, what am I going to do? Dry my hands afterwards. So let's go. Down here is still as scruffy as can be. I've got my thornless blackberry there, so I'm going to have some blackberries soon. That greenhouse is broken, so I'm going to see if I can repair it. If I can't, that will come down, and I'll see what else I come up with on this end. I'll have a think about it. Now, I've got to think about this bed here. This bed here gets partial sun, so what it looks like is standing at the back of the plot, which sheds in front of me. The sun appears to rise over here on the left and set over there on the right. So that's the path of the sun. So from here over there. Right, that's fair enough. But this bed here is going to suffer with a lot of shade, unfortunately. If they put the shed right at the edge of the plot, or towards the edge of the plot, it would have probably been a lot more productive. So I think I'm going to clear this bed and then I will. I might use it as a herb garden. Haven't decided yet. I might build it up into sort of 3 or 4 layers and plant various herbs in it. So I'm thinking of that for that bed. I've still got a load of rubbish here that needs clearing away. I've just found some raspberries. I didn't even realise I had raspberries. But there's raspberries in a pot there. There's a bath underneath it, so that bath might fill it with some of the compost that's hiding over there. Put it in the bath and maybe plant carrots in there. Nice loose soil. There's a big log under here. And like I said, I've no idea what I'm going to do with this end yet. I would like to put some compost bins in over there, in on the corner, because it's curved, it's a bit of a funny shape. But I thought if I put compost bins down here, and then maybe move things like the rhubarb and other stuff over here. So got to have a think about that. See what I can do there. I want to clear all down the side here. I want to get all these weeds up. I might cheat and use some organic weed killer down here, just to clear these, because these are quite deeply rooted. Unfortunately, I've tried pulling them up, and huge clumps of soil are coming up with them. So along the edge here, I might have to use a weed killer of some sort. And then what I think I'll do is get more of the bark chippings and put bark chippings along the edge here, but under some weed membrane, just to try and keep them under control. The problem is where all this is growing in here. I found a load of slugs and snails down here the other day, so it's giving them somewhere to hide, and obviously that's bad news. Down here, this end here, I'm not sure, because it stretches from this raised bed just here, just to the other side of that pile of dead stuff. I am thinking that I'm either going to make some more raised beds or turn the soil and do something else on it. It might be, I mean, if I can get the money together and get permission, it might be nice to put a greenhouse on there. But the problem with a greenhouse on there is there are trees here overlooking it, and obviously there's a risk of branches falling from the trees. But the trees look they're not huge, and they look fairly secure. But I might look at putting a greenhouse there, because if I have a greenhouse, then obviously I can grow a lot more in it. But obviously it's a cost of a greenhouse, because I can have quite a large greenhouse, so I'd like it to stretch about 2.5 metres. What's that? About 9 foot by sort of 10-12 foot across. That'd be lovely if I could do that. So I am thinking about that there. Or the other alternative is I might put some straw bales around the outside and do some straw bale gardening out on this end, and then do something else in the middle maybe. So thinking about that end there, but that's a little way away. The priority is to clear these raised beds and clear this middle bit here really. Once I've got these raised beds cleared, that I said, once I've gone from the shed to the end of that raised beds, that's two-thirds of the plot's cleared, and that's a huge win. Because the thing is when you're clearing an allotment, the problem is motivation. Now, if I'd come over here and I'd started tackling this, I would currently be forking over this soil and trying desperately to get the weeds out, and frankly I would be feeling suicidal. It is soul destroying, and I'm sure you know what it's like. It's absolutely soul destroying when you're trying to clear something like this. It's literally grass. Again, this may have to be weed killed. I may have to use some spray on this, just so I've got a chance to get down to the soil, because it's thick weeds all over, and it is very difficult. And when you're trying to dig something like this, it takes a lot out of you, and you get really frustrated. So what I tend to do is, so I don't lose my motivation, I feel really upset, I tend to concentrate on what I call quick wins. and that's why I've concentrated on some of these beds. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beds clean and looking good. The strawberry bed is mostly done. I've just got to go through and get a couple of blades of grass out. The garlic bed isn't going to take me too long to do, and also broad bean one over there. So realistically, I should be able to clear an awful lot of these beds away. Once these beds are clear, like I said, that's most of it done. I can then go around the outside, clear the outside, and I've got a good looking area that I can come to, look at and go, I'm pleased with that, that looks nice. And for me, that means that I'm motivated, because I can now, rather than concentrate over there trying to struggle with weeds and dig, I can get down here, I can get 1, 2, 3 beds planted like that. I could put something in the back of the bed there with the potatoes. I can clear that bed, get stuff in there. So I could plant that bed full of leeks. I could get some brassicas in those 2 beds. And you know, I've got a quick win. I've got stuff planted, I've got stuff growing, I'm feeling motivated, I can see something happening, which is important. And then obviously I can work my way more slowly through either end, which is really, really overgrown. So like I said, for me, the quick wins are very, very important, because that's how you stay motivated. Like I said, it's very, very easy. When you're faced with something like this, it's very easy to just lose your motivation and think, I can't be bothered. And unfortunately, a lot of people do give up. Now, if my whole allotment, and as you know from seeing some of the old ones, I've had allotments like that being really bad. If my whole allotment was like this, to be fair, I would get a petrol strimmer in, I would strim it all down, rake it all into a pile, and then I would concentrate on small areas at a time. I would dig an area, then cover or plant it, then dig the next area. So I'd do like 2 square meters at a time, cover it, plant it, you know, whatever, but clear it. Again, that you may think, well, I want to clear the entire plot and then I'll start. But if you do that, you've got weeks and weeks and weeks of hard labour before you can even start seeing some results. Whereas if you dig just a sort of a corner and then you plant it, you've got stuff going and you're getting motivated, you've got something that's looking good and something to look forward to. Then you can clear the next bit and the next bit and the next bit. And then all you do is you get your hoe, you go back to the bits you've done, and every couple of days, quick hoe over, get the weeds down. And that way, you see some results fairly quickly. You know, for me, that's the best way of working. It's not the right way for everyone, but I find that by getting those quick wins and those results, you end up a lot more motivated for a lot longer, meaning that you get more done and you don't give up. So, I am going to start by planting the mint. That's going in there. I've got 3 little mints, got them from Aldi, so they were only, what, 90p a plant, much cheaper than the garden centre, and I know from experience they grow well. So they're going to go in there. I'm then going to look at clearing, maybe covering the beds first, see if I can do that, and then I'm going to look at clearing some more beds. So I'll give you an update in a bit once I've done that. But in the meantime, I'm going to get to work. It's a nice day. There are a few black clouds knocking around, so I'm going to get moving fairly quickly, but I don't think it's going to be too serious, so we should be okay today. Welcome back, allotmenteers. I've done a couple of hours now down here, and I just wanted to share with you the progress so far. Right, these are the onion beds, 2 onion beds, and the garlic. The garlic's all been pulled. As you know, I did the onion the other day. It's quite warm out here. What I've done is, because I'm not going to plant them immediately, I've covered them. Now, rather than buy tarpaulins, which are expensive and then require you to cut them up, I have bought black plastic bags that you use in a normal bin in your house, torn them across, or cut them across the seams, and then stapled them around the outside. There's 3 bags on each one just to cover it. Stapled it around the outside, and then just weighed down the joints with a couple of rocks. And all that's going to do for me is that's going to keep the weeds down. So it means I'm not going to plant these today. It might be 2 weeks before I plant them. I need to order some brassicas, and these are going to all have brassicas in. So I'm going to order those. They're going to come as plug plants. So it's going to be 2-3 weeks before they arrive and before I get around to planting them. So by covering it like this, all it means is when the plants arrive, take the plastic off and put the plants in, and there won't be any weeding. So these now don't need any weeding. They're absolutely perfect, so I can leave them be. And you can see here I've also done the same with this one, purely because I thought that would work as well. So again, these are all under control. That one I'm probably going to put leeks in, to be honest with you, because I think that'd be a good idea. Oh yeah, I've torn some of the grass away from the outside here. I'm going to weed kill it and bark it, because you can see just in there where it's had the grass up against it. It's obviously got very wet and it started to rot. So by keeping the grass off it, they will last a lot longer. There are also lots of slugs and snails hiding down there, so I've taken care of those. Over here I found this in one of the beds, which smells very much like lemon balm to me. So there's 2 plants there, so I will remove that, and that will go into a pot at some stage. This was a broad bean bed, which, as you were aware, was for the mare's tail. It was also, the soil was really claggy. It was like the potato bed. You remember the other day I showed you this one here? Basically what it was is manure had been applied, but the manure hadn't broken down properly and was sort of almost solidified. So I've dug all that as well. Now, the mare's tail, I have a suspicion that's come in on manure, because I can only find it in the raised beds. And on the going out of the raised beds, it's coming under them onto the path. I think, judging from the fact it's heavy in the beds it's been quite prevalent in, I think it came in the manure, which is good news in a way, because it does mean that I'm not going to be fighting it all over the allotment. So I've pulled it and I've dug down and got most of the roots out. So hopefully that's going to be okay. Now if we go over here, you can see my pile of weeds has grown again, quite substantially. But on this field over here, what I've done, just to make my life easier, is all the thistles, dandelions and nettles, I've gone and cut down to sort of knee height to ankle height. So I've got the seeds off, it's all thrown on there. And basically what that's going to do for me is, it means when they start throwing seeds, it's not going to be in this soil. It's just going to help make it slightly easier for me when I have to dig it. Now I'm not going to be here for too much longer, because it's getting close to lunchtime and I'm getting tired. Upcoming jobs. This bed needs clearing. That bed needs clearing. I need to clear along the back there. Let's just walk round. Here, between this raised bed and the neighbouring plot there, is meant to be a path. So what I want to do is I want to sort of try and clear that path. So I want to clear all along here. So I've got a definite boundaries. Once I've done that, I can then look at perhaps, let me come back a bit. What I'm thinking is, if I put stakes along here, along the back, and say there and there I plant apple trees, I can grow the apple trees along the stakes. I can grow them up to probably about 2-3 feet high, though to be honest, actually thinking about it, looking at the fact that the sun comes over this way in front of us, if I grow apple trees along there, it's going to be casting shadows on the bed. So the trees will be far better on this side next to the road, simply because they're not going to be casting shadows. And if I plant them along there, I could grow them probably 6 foot tall. They don't object to plants growing trees growing tall here. The last allotment, you went over 6 foot and that was it. You know, you had to chop the top of your tree. What I can do here is I can train the apple trees up up and then grow them along. So if I have poles in with wires, I can grow them along, and I could grow, I could plant sort of 2 or 3 apple trees around there. So that could be quite nice. If I plant one in the gap there, one in the gap there, and one in the gap there, I could have the apple trees growing along, and that'd be quite a nice way to produce the fruit, a good space saver, and as I said, won't be casting shadow, and it'll make a nice barrier between me and the road, which will be pleasant. So it gives the allotment just that little bit of privacy, I think, which would be quite pleasant. And obviously I'd have to stop there. So these 2 beds are the next priority, and this bed behind here. Once I've got these cleared, I've then got to decide what I'm going to do next. I think my next job, in all honesty, I'm going to have to tackle this end. I need to get this end sorted, because if I want to put in my compost heaps, so I want them over there. I want to move the rhubarb over here so that I've got that raised bed free, because to me, putting something like rhubarb, a permanent crop, in the raised bed is a real waste. So I want to move those over here, and I also want to look at, I've got blackberry there, and I want to get other stuff in here as well, so perhaps some more soft fruit. Maybe plant those raspberries out. I still don't know what to do with that greenhouse. As I said, unfortunately, it looks like some of the it's a nice greenhouse actually. It's fairly stable, but the problem is some of the poles are broken. You can just see where I'm pointing. Those poles down, the pole down there, and again along the bottom over there, has snapped. Obviously in the wind, and it's the actual pole that is broken, rather than just a joint. Now I might be able to duct tape it together, which is a possibility. So we will see. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what use I would have for the greenhouse. I mean, I poked my head in it, and it's a fantastic haven for weeds, and it's full of giant slugs and snails. So I'm not sure, to be honest, whether that's got any purpose here, or whether it's going to have to go. I'd like to keep it. Like I said, it is a good quality greenhouse. But one of the problems we get here is you get an awful lot of high winds, and there are greenhouses, I've been told, and I can see, there's a couple of greenhouses that are being torn to pieces by the wind. So having spoken to a couple of people about it, I'm not sure whether putting a greenhouse in is a good idea, but we will see. I might just use the communal polytunnels to start things off, and speak to someone on the committee about whether I can grow things like chilies and bell peppers and whatever in the communal polytunnels, which you can see are just over there. So, because I've been in them and I've had a look, and they are actually pretty much empty at the moment. So I might be able to get away with that. So I'll inquire. Had a couple of encounters with wildlife today. Somewhere down here, I saw a little baby frog hopping around quite happily. It was rather cute. I got loads of pots and odds and ends there, which I'm sure I'll find a use for. I've seen some bumblebees disappearing under the shed, so I'm not sure what that's all about. There is a chap here who keeps bees, so I'm going to go and talk to him and find out if I should be concerned or whatever about them doing that. And oh yes, I almost had a pigeon fly into me. I was hiding behind my strawberries, stood up, and pigeon sort of was flying low, and had to veer and avoid me. So very good fun. It's lovely, but I'm pleased with the results. I mean, you know, if you remember just a week ago, well, it still is a heap of weeds, but it was more of a heap of weeds. But you can see across there now it's starting to look respectable. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 14, 15 raised beds clear. So, you know, it hasn't been a huge amount of work to clear those raised beds. and I must admit I am a big fan of them. I'm really pleased with what's happened with them. I'm really pleased with the fact that I can easily cover them like this as well. So that's actually a real bonus. So I think I'm going to go and get myself some lunch and get out the sun. Only mad dogs and Englishmen stay out in the midsummer sun, and it's very, very hot again today. I did get burnt the other day, and I've got no desire whatsoever to repeat it. So particularly as the cats thought it was incredibly funny to sit on my sunburn. So I will get on with stuff. I will clear some more beds next time I'm down, and I will get some herbs. Like I said, I've got to have a good think about where I'm going to put my herb beds. There's lots of places for pots, and like I said, I may well, that there could become, I don't know, a herb bed maybe, might become a hotbed. I don't know yet. Trouble is, it's in the trouble is this is in exactly the wrong position, really, if I'm really honest with you. The idea with a raised bed is that you can get to it from all around easily enough. The problem with where this one is you can't really get, because of the size of it, you can't really get to the back, to the middle. So, gotta have a think what to do with this. I really do. I don't know what to do with it. I'm at a bit of a loss. Like I said, because the sun goes across this way, the back bit there is in shade for a lot of the day. It does get some sun, but I don't know. I just don't know what to do with this one. I don't know whether to keep the bed there or whether to get rid of it. I don't know. I don't know whether to move the bed down to the far end or something like that. But if you've got any suggestions or ideas of what I can do with this, it's in partial shades, or parts of it in partial shade. I can't really reach it very well, so I'd appreciate any suggestions or ideas on what to do with it. But I will go and tidy up, put everything away, go and get some lunch, and I'll see you very soon back at the allotment.